So, we are now in the top 5. Now, this is where all the games get really big. These are the biggest games I have ever played on the 360. And at number 5, interestingly enough, we have the only game on this list to be released this year. And that is GTA 5. Now, I'm going to say straight away the impact this game had to get into this list, and that is because GTA 5 was released this year at around September, I believe, and that was only, 3 months ago, and it has already made it into the top 5 of 25 games. Some of these games I've been playing for years, and that straight away shows how much impact this game had on my gaming career. And I say that because there was loads of hype. There was an astounding amount of hype, and I know people, who were hyping over this more than me because they're really into GTA. Wink, wink to the other way of carry on plays. And with GTA, it brought this new sort of dynamic feel to it with the 3 characters and the whole new way they went about with everything. You could see the little things from GTA 4 and all this sort of stuff, but what the main thing was this 3 character arc with all these 3 characters and the way you'd switch between them, and they all had different sort of abilities. You had Franklin, who could slow down time while he was driving. You had Michael, who could slow down time just as he was shooting, or so he could shoot people in slow-mo, sort of like Max Payne, but without the jumping about the place. And then you had Trevor, who had a sort of berserk ability where he would go into a rage where he could deal like double damage, and he'd take half the amount of damage he actually would take. And so that was really interesting. But what was more interesting was the characters themselves. They really fleshed out these characters. They gave them a whole backstory. They gave them a whole, personality and sort of stuff. Not like Nico Bellic, because Bellic, he was kind of robotic in a way. It just sort of went, here's the guy you're playing as, go do this stuff, and ooh. Whereas these people really had sort of emotions. They really had these feelings for these different scenarios, and Michael had this. He was kind of like deranged at home. He was kind of like the shitty husband who was just trying to do stuff for his kids but kept like messing up or something, and his wife like cheats on him and stuff. So he's kind of sort of deranged in that sort of sense. But then you have Franklin, who's sort of like in the hood. So he's got his friend Lamar, and they go around, I think you could call it a stereotypical gang person. So he would go around doing all sort of these gang things, picking up drugs and stuff like that. And then finally you have Trevor, who is bloody insane and probably everyone's favourite character out of the 3. And he's out of it. He's completely mental. He can snap on you at the drop of a pin. So basically, you could just be talking to him, and he'd randomly snap and then start killing someone. And it was just amazing to see all these sort of characters come alive better than what GTA 5 did, and especially all the other side characters, all these reoccurring characters like Lester and the. Is it the IAA agents? Yep, I think I got that right. The IAA agents and all these sort of little side characters, including like psycho people, people who are a little bit crazy, people who need your help, sort of the guy at the stand who's selling weed. Those missions were kind of funny. And they just really made these characters instead of just player models that you look at and talk to. And so that was really good. And then came the story. The story was fantastic, I'll say. It's best GTA story. I mean, I've only played 2 properly, but it definitely gave GTA 4 a complete smack around the face, because this was just an outright action comedy mashup of great stuff. It was just a cauldron of awesomeness, and the story was really pivotal in the way they switched about with these character arcs. Like, it wasn't just a story where, you know, you play as one of them throughout it, and you just go through it. You had to progress in the story by using all 3 characters. So you couldn't just, you know, because you had the choice of switching between the 3, you couldn't just choose Michael to play every single mission. There had to be a point where they would go away for a while, and you'd take control of, say, Franklin for a bit, and then you progress through the story by completing missions with him. And that was really interesting. I like that. I like how it wasn't, you know, just a cheap way of getting through the story. Like, you really like this guy because, you know, you like him, or he's got a really good ability, so you want to use that all the time. But no, the story was really well done with 3 characters. They all sort of came together in the end, and it was just it was quite a shock ending. I didn't expect it to suddenly pop up like that, but it did. And I chose what I wanted to do. So, you know, if you've played GTA 5 and you know what I'm talking about, you know, I chose what I thought was right. I'm not going to tell you what I chose, but apart from that, everything else leading up to it, you had all these sort of different missions that could have included the 3 of you, or just 2 of you, or just 1 of you, ranging from stealing a submarine to, you know, parasailing into a building and stealing someone, to then torturing that person. And I'm not going to go up on that because that was quite a controversial aspect of the game, but I'm not going to talk about that because, you know, I don't really care. It's a game. Get over it. And I think I'm not really sure what to say about the rest of the story. I mean, it was just kind of fun that they brought all these sort of characters and made, you know, gave them their separate little stories that also was entwined with the main story. But then came the heists. The heists was a really fun part. This was where, I mean, there was only 3 of them. There was only about 3-4 of them, and that was kind of disappointing. I mean, they really played it up, these heists, and I was thinking, you know, they may have been a very big part of the game, but they were only just about, you know, spaced far between and very few. But they were still good, nonetheless. They were really good missions, and it was fun to sort of do missions leading up to that to sort of get prepared for these heists. And then once you've got everything prepared, you sort of organise it on a board, saying who you want to go with you, who'd be doing what approach you'd take. And that was very interesting to see that you could do different approaches to a mission instead of the, you know, the standard follow this objective, go do that, done. And so it was just really fun and really cool, especially the one where Trevor gets a giant minigun. If any of you have not played it yet, you'll really enjoy that part. And apart from the story and the heists, the rest of it, like including the gameplay and the driving, was just, it was great. It was really fun. I think some people complained that the driving was a bit too sort of arcadey and light, but you know, GTA isn't always about realism. You know, if you want real driving, go play bloody Forza Motorsport. What are you doing playing GTA if you want realistic driving? And so the driving was fun, especially if you had Franklin using his ability, all the different cars you could use, some of them hilarious, ranging from like tanks to little golf carts. So that was fun, and then you had the helicopters and planes. Planes are back, jet fighters, that's great, especially in the online. I'm not going to talk about the online. The online is pretty much a separate thing. I'm just talking about the GTA single player game. And you also had the stuff with buying properties and getting money from that, buying your cars, the whole real estate thing. No, that was in online, sorry. The whole online banking, all the stock exchange, those were fun. To see what you could do with that. What else about the gameplay? Oh, the physics were back, of course. The, typical Rockstar physics, where the bodies react really well to the environment around them and stuff that happened to them. The facial animations were good. Really looked like these characters were expressing their feelings, and they were really saying what they were saying instead of like it being a really bad dub. And what else about the gameplay was there? There was the side things, the little activities you could do at the side. So that you had tennis, you had darts, golf, running, marathons, races, which included cars, bikes, off-road vehicles, and bicycles. And you had all these ranges of different activities you could do. I mean, I didn't really play many of them. I think I played tennis 3 times. That was it. I don't think I did the marathons, I remember that, and I did some of the races, but I didn't do any other sort of activities like darts or arm wrestling or any sort of the little activities, I'd say. I didn't really do any of them, so I can't really comment on them. I can say that the tennis was actually quite good, surprisingly. I didn't really expect them to put too much effort into creating the tennis and making it really well made, but they did. It actually was quite a good tennis game. I think it could possibly have been its own standalone tennis game if they decided. GTA Tennis coming soon. And I think that's pretty much everything I can say for GTA. I mean, the map was huge. It was gigantic. I think it was bigger than the rest of the GTAs combined or something like that. Oh no, it was bigger than GTA San Andreas, GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption. It was bigger than all 3 of those maps combined. And wow, it was huge, and it was beautiful to see all these different locations, the transition from being in a city to being on like the piers to being down in industrial areas to down in the deserts and up in the mountains, and it was just amazing. It was very well fleshed out. They piled so much work into this game, and it is deserved of a top 5 spot on this list.